A philosophical journal is, it's described actually by the ancient Stoics themselves. Epictetus talks about it. Seneca talks about it. And essentially consists in journaling about your daily happenings, but in a particular way. So I do it, for instance, almost every night before going to bed. I just open up my computer and I type a few things, a few thoughts about what happened during the day. But this isn't supposed to be a diary, like, oh, today I got out and went to the grocery shopping, or I did this or that or the other. That's not what it is about. You're supposed to focus on things that happened to you where you either reacted very well, particularly well, or you did not handle particularly well. For instance, I don't know, maybe today I got upset with a student and I lost my patient or something like that, right? My patients, or with a friend or whatever. So you reflect on those instances because you're trying to learn and to become a better person. The way you do that, however, a lot of people do it in the wrong way. Lots of people journal, even people that are not Stoic. The journaling is a very common thing. Lots of people do it, but a lot of people do it wrong from a Stoic perspective. A lot of people tend to write in the first person. For instance, I did this, I did that. And they tend to write in a very emotional way. I got upset about this because, God damn it, there was this blah, blah, blah. That happened. I was writing being angry, that sort of stuff. That not only doesn't help, it's actually counterproductive. And there is research in modern psychology that backs up the Stoic intuition. That way of doing it is a bad way of doing it. It's actually, you're only making your life more miserable because you're revisiting emotionally some situations that were difficult for you, and then you're now going over and over again. They loop in your mind constantly. That's not good. That's not a good thing. The way you should do it is the way the ancient Stoics did say that we should, and as I said, modern psychologists agree. And that is, first of all, you write in the second person, as if you were writing to a friend. So you say, oh, today you did this. Today you reacted in this way, right? That sort of stuff. As if you're writing a letter of advice to your friend, okay? Except that your friend is yourself in this particular case. The second thing you need to do is to try to describe the situation as objectively as possible. In other words, don't use emotional language. Because the point isn't to relive the situation emotionally. The point is to learn from it and try not to do it the next time around, right? So typically, for instance, Stoics ask themselves 3 questions. What did I do wrong? What did I do right? And what could I do better? And the reason for those are because you want to ask yourself what you did wrong in a particular situation. Let's say, as I said, again, maybe I lost my temper with a friend or something like that, right? Or what did I do wrong? Well, I lost my temper. That was not good. That's not a good thing, to lose your temper with your friend. The reason you want to write that down is because you want to analyze how that exactly happened. What triggered you? Why is it that you lost your temper? What was so important that you got angry about? How did that actually happen? And you do that not because you want to self-flagellate and say, oh, I was so bad, blah blah blah, but because you want to learn. And say, oh, so that kind of stuff actually triggers me, turns out, right? You also want to ask yourself, what did I do right? The reason for that is twofold. First of all, pat yourself in the back. Like, okay, I did something right, so I'm not a horrible human being, right? I did something right. Like, for instance, yes, I did get upset, but I immediately apologized to my friend, right? I caught myself and I apologized, and that's a good thing. The second reason you want to write down what you did right is because basically now you have 2 goalposts, right? You have, on the one hand, the stuff you don't want to do, and on the other hand, the stuff that you want to do. And the goal over time is to move away from the first one and toward the second one, right? So if you keep them in mind, you say, okay, well, certain things trigger my anger. On the other hand, I can also find the resources in me to apologize when I get angry. That's what you want to do. Over time, you want to move away from the first one and toward the second one. So the third question becomes then crucial, because the third question is, how could you possibly handle better that kind of situation in the future? We tend to think of our lives as kind of always varied, you're always doing different things, but that's not true. Pretty much we live the same life every day. right? I mean, you think about it this way. You get up in the morning, you go to work, at least you did before the pandemic, right? And so you see the same people, your colleagues, you do about the same things because, your job is what it is. Then you come back home and you see the same people, your wife or your children or whatever it is. And you tend to do the same things. And then during the weekend, you take the day off and you see your friends and you tend to see the same people again and tend to do the same things. You go to the movies or you go to a concert or whatever it is, or you go to dinner out again before the pandemic. That means that all these situations repeat themselves. Not exactly, but broadly, right? Which means that if you pay attention to what you've been doing in the past, and you think about it, you can say to yourself, okay, well, next time that something like this happens, I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to react in this other way. So let's say, again, let's use the same example that I gave you a minute ago. Let's say that I wrote down in my philosophical journal that I got upset with my friend, and that's because he criticized the fact that, he says, oh, maybe you're a little bit out of shape. You should go to the gym. And I got upset. Right? Well, if I pay attention, then now I know that is one of my triggers, right? And I can tell myself to my diet, I can say, dude, why you get upset about this? I mean, there's only two possibilities: that either my friend was right, that it's true that I let myself go a little bit and I should go to the gym, right? In which case, I shouldn't get upset. I should thank him. I should say, oh yeah, thank you for pointing it out. That spurs me to go back to the gym, or to eat more healthy or something like that. Or he's wrong. Maybe it's just he thinks that I put on some weight, but I actually didn't. And I know because I checked myself. I went on the scale and I checked. I said, no, you're wrong. In which case, if he's wrong, it's not skin off my nose. I mean, he's the one that is wrong, not me, right? So why do I get upset about things? And so I can prepare myself mentally next time that something like that happens, either for the same friend or with somebody else. I can say, look, actually, that's not actually the case. It may look like it, but I actually check myself and I'm in pretty good shape. But thank you for your concern, right? So if I put myself in that situation of thinking ahead of time, how am I going to react the next time, then my reaction is going to be much better.